Good evening, Vande Mataram. So, in the process of summarization, we are going to take up a topic that is on quest. So, the topic will be a very interesting topic. We will see so many things. The purpose of sadhana. Of course, we will spring forward in a very bright and beautiful way. And we'll see actually how the adventure of Savitri in the process of this quest we'll find from Sri Aurobindo's writings. It is really book 4 and canto 4, 4 4, book 4 canto 4, the adventure of Savitri. In the process of summarization, it is from the canto the quest. So initially Sri Aurobindo starts, the world ways opened before Savitri. The world ways opened before Savitri, it was closed. It is closed, of course, because we are confined, our vision is confined. Now it is opened before Savitri. At first, the strangeness of new, brilliant scenes peopled her mind and kept her body's gaze. But as she moved across the changing earth, the changing earth as she moved across, a deeper consciousness welled up in her. Then Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully, each soil and country it had made its home. It took all clans and peoples for its own. Then, after some time, you can see landscapes are recorded like lost, forgotten fields, because many times she has traded her feet on this enchanted soil. Once again, she is going to start her divine unfinished work. Cities and rivers and plains her vision claimed like slow recurring memories in front. Cities and rivers and plains her vision claimed like slow recurring memories in front. The stars at night were her past brilliant friends. The stars at night were her past brilliant friends, because this scenario, every occurrence is not new for her. The winds murmur to her of ancient things. Initially, she has faced, she has felt, she has been acquainted. And she met nameless comrades loved by her once. This is now recurring. All was a part of old forgotten selves. Now it is recurring. Vaguely or with a flash of sudden hints, her acts recalled, now forgotten, now recalled a line of bygone power. Even her motion's purpose was not new. For the purpose she has come, it is not new. Again, even her traveler to a prefigured high event. Traveler to where? Not to any destined or known or something like a dham or god or destiny. Traveler to a prefigured high event, she seemed to her remembering witness soul. Forgotten, recall, then remembering witness soul, to trace again a journey often made. To trace again a journey often made. A guidance turned the dumb revolving wheels and in the eager body of their speed. At once, the agents of his spirit's will and witnesses and executors of his fate. So this is a great adventure. It is going on this great day. Of course, I have forgotten to say this is happy Kartik Purnima. This is, we know, Rasa Purnima. This Kartika Purnima, end of this month of Kartik. So in the every year in the month of Kartik, we float boats in rivers and tanks. This is the greatest and this glorious occasion. We'll see forward. Sri Aurobindo again quotes here: "Nothing we think or do is void or vain. Everything is correlated. Nothing we think or do is void or vain. Even each is an energy loosed or holds its course. The shadowy keepers of our deathless past, shadowy keepers of our deathless past, have made our fate the child of our acts, and from the furrows labored by our will, From the furrows labored by our will, we reap the fruit of our forgotten deeds. Again, to a mechanic mind, this is the great mind. Another type of mind have been defined. This is a mechanical mind. To a mechanic mind tired by art's law, yet are the instruments of his will supreme. Again, will later we see. Sri Aurobindo quotes very beautifully. A way proposed by an unerring guide, a way proposed by an unerring guide, all was the working of an ancient plan. All was the working of an ancient plan, a way proposed by an unerring guide across wide noons and glowing afternoons. She met with nature and with human forms and listened to the voices of the world. Met with nature and with human forms and listen to the voices of the world. Then we can go a little bit forward. What on the way really she is facing, and she of course she is witnessing. At first, her path ran far through peopled tracks. Will come. Let us summarize first whatever we have gone through till now, because later we will find her adventure. We will find the untreaded path which is treading, she is treading right now. So that great description we'll find about the path, the people, tracks, the jungles, forests, and of course the rishis and sadhus, and of course sannyasis who are in their process. They are actually meditating, doing the sadhana, and watching over the unknowable, unthinkable. That's what we will see little later. Let us first summarize whatever has been glimpsed so far. So this is 4-4, book 4, canto 4. Sri Aurobindo comes back to the quest. At first, Savitri's mind is occupied with the strangeness of some scenes opening before her as she drives her chariot. When she drives forward, accustomed scenes, you seen strangeness of some scenes she faces, because theoretically she was confined to the palace. Now she is moving, treading on an unknown strange world. But soon a deeper consciousness grows up and she begins to feel all as her own. All these scenes are occurring before us, everything is almost familiar. That's what it seemed. It seems, and as once known to her, of course forgotten, but known to her previously. Old memories well up, and there is a sense of continuity of purpose and action from the past. Continuity of the purpose and action from the past. Some guidance leads her carriage. Some guidance, ancient guidance already we have seen. Some guidance leads her carriage. The godheads have move, who always act from behind the veil, working out the destiny which is but the spirit's will. Spirit's will, gods are watching, but from the behind the veil. A calm presence above her chooses each turn on the way. Each turn, every that mighty guidance, the of course it is a calm presence above, chooses her turn on the way. Her journey runs through crowded cities. Just now we have stopped. We'll see. Runs across crowded cities, forts, gardens, and temples. This through all these things, her journey actually it runs across cities, forts, gardens, and temples. During nights, she rests in palaces on the route in the initial phase. Palaces on the routes. Then she comes into the countryside where nature is fresh, not yet peopled with human cares and joys. Initially, these palaces, these people tracks, and she is resting in the palace. Later, she is coming into the midst of this nature's bosom. Then she feels the closeness of earth and hears her inarticulate voice. So then Her nature is in communion with the Maker. Nature is in communion with the nature, with the Maker, the great Creator. Let us read a few lines right now. This will be very interesting to see how her journey really moves forward. At first, her path ran far through people tracks, admitted to the lion eyes of states and the theatres of the loud act of man. Her carven chariot with its fretted wheel threaded through clamorous marts and the sentinel towers. All these are things with the cities and the stars. Then we can find so half conscious of the tardy listening night, dimly glided between banks of sleep. That nice description. Dimly she glided between banks of sleep, at rest in the slumbering palaces of kings. Then Hamlet and village saw the fat wine pass. Hamlet and village, second ship, saw the fat wine pass. Homes of a life bent to the soil it plows. Again, about the nature, nature's description we see. Here, timeless musings, large and glad and still. Timeless musings, large and glad and still. Men had forborne as yet to fill with cares. Imperial echoes of the eternal swear. Imperial echoes of the eternal swear and wind-tired grasslands winking in the sun. Great nature's description while she is treading across. Again, steering the course beautifully, like a swift hope journeying among its dreams, hastened the chariot of the golden bride. Hastened the chariot of the golden bride, initially through peopled lands, peopled tracks, cities, sentinels, marts like this, then through the stubborn nature, the beautiful, enchanted nature. Out of the world's immense unhuman past, tracked memories and ageless remnants came. Tracked memories and ageless remnants came because she was acquainted with. Now everything is coming to the front. Domains of light enfused to the and to antique calm. Inhuman past, unhuman past, antique calm. Listen to the unaccustomed sound of hooves. Just imagine. Later we can find the beautiful description. The affair from the brute noise of clamorous needs, the quieted, all-seeking mind could feel at rest from its blind outwardness of will. From outwardness, it is coming to inside. The unwearied clasp of her mute patient love, and know for a soul the mother of our forms. Know for a soul the mother of our forms. Again we go a little bit forward. Her austere region and her musing depths, her impersonal riches, lonely and inspired, and the mightinesses of her rapture haunts. Again we find alone with the cry of birds and huge of flowers. Alone, nobody is there. She is adventuring past with her heart's loneliness. Sharing the course beautifully. Fields had sea of her solitary mirth. Plains hushed and happy in the embrace of light, alone with the cry of birds and the hue of flowers, and wildernesses of wonder lit by her moons, and grey sear evenings kindling with the stars, and dim movement in the night's infinitude. So just imagine how the memorable journey is going to the nature, and a great description of nature has been described by the master. August, exulting in her maker's eye, she felt her nearness to him in art's breast, conversed still with a light behind the veil. Conversed still with a light behind the veil, still communed with eternity beyond. Then what happens nearby? The people around him, whom she rarely finds on the way. A few and fit inhabitants she called to share the glad communion of her peace. The breadth, the summit where their natural home. Few and fit inhabitants she called. The strong king sages from their labor done, freed from the warrior tension of their work, came to her serene sessions in these wilds. King says. The strife was over, the respite lay in front. The strife was over, the happy they lived in with like birds and beasts and flowers and the sunlight and the rustle of the leaves. And heard the wild winds wandering in the night. Just King suggests how their environment and how they are, what about their purpose and what is their, about their method of sadhana. Again, we can go forward. They sojourned with an ever living bliss in the soul's unprofound star white recess. Souls on profound star white recess, they sojourned with an ever living bliss. A voice profound in the ecstasy and the hush, they heard, beheld an all revealing light. All time made difference they overcame. All time made difference that is time made they overcame. The world was fibered with their own heartstrings. So, attuned to silence and to the world rhyme, they loosened the knot of the imprisoning mind. Another type of mind we can see, imprisoning mind. That's what the great thing, great description. So, later, before going forward, front to going ahead, we'll try to summarize a little bit. The same thing, whatever we have read, King Sages came to share in her happy peace after their life of strife and labor. After their life of strife and labor, they are coming to share our happy peace. Some retire into the recesses of the soul, retire into the recesses of the soul and realize oneness with the world. Some break through the wells of the mind and soar into the heights of the spirit from where truth leans down to them. So what happens? Break through the walls of the mind, break through the walls of mind and soar into the heights of the spirit from where the truth leans on them. From the height truth is leaning, that is the height of the spirit. Again, ascetics sit in concentration. Ascetics sit in concentration, wait upon the immutable and the ineffable. Ascetics in concentration sit in concentration, waiting upon the immutable and the ineffable. Seers again. King suggests. Then we can find ascetics and the seers tune themselves to the universal will and lie content in God. Seers tune themselves to the universal will with the universal will they are attuned and lie content in God. The young disciples again, the young disciple around them are fashioned by their touch and greatened by their presence. To these seers, actually, these young disciples around them, sitting around them, are fashioned by their touch and greatened by their presence. In this air, king children play and grow in heroic moods. You know that Pathasala, Guru, Kula, Ashram and all. So in king children, in this air, king children play and grow in heroic moods. Then says seers, young disciples, king sages, ascetics. Later we can find sages, breathing freedom and joy, assist the entry of gods to earth. Sages, breathing freedom and joy, assist the entry of the gods on earth, touch the young to think and live high. They teach the young to think and live high. Their presence, even their silence, is a help to the earth, these sages, great sages. In their environs, beasts forget their enmities and join in friendship. These are the greatness of their sadhana. Even in their environs, beasts forget their enmities and join in friendship. Some who go beyond the confines of thought, some are there who goes beyond the confines of thought, bring back to earth the force and the light from beyond. They cross, they overcome, they go ahead and bring back force and the light from the beyond. Some watch the witnesses from their silence, some disappear into the past. That is the process of sadhana. Great description really, why people really do the sadhana yoga and what they really find and how their life reacts and how they proceed in the process of sadhana. We have seen great description on king sages, ascetics, seers, young disciples, sages, and of course find the young king children, and still some people who watch as witnesses from their silence, some disappear into the past. So let us summarize the thing before to conclude. It is a great thing, great description. Unless otherwise you go into that consciousness of the yogic consciousness, it will be very difficult to understand. But thing is that it is very clear, and we have to see it. Against Aurobindo quotes, world naked hermits with their matted hair, world naked hermits with their matted hair, immobile as the passionless great hills. Immobile as the passionless great hills, around them grouped like thoughts of some vast mood, awaiting the infinity's behest to end. The seers again, attuned to the universal will, content in him who smiles behind earth's forms. Then again we can find young grave disciples fashioned by their touch, trained to be to the simple act and the conscious word, gathered within and grew to meet their heights. Again, there is a night quotation we can find here. Far wandering seekers on the eternal path. Far wandering seekers on the eternal path brought to these quiet founts their spirits thirst. To these quiet founts their spirits thirst, and spent the treasure of a silent hour behind, bathed in the purity of the mild gaze that uninsistent ruled them from its peace, and by its influence found the ways of calm. Again, the infant of the monarchy of the worlds, infants of the monarchy of the worlds, king children's, the heroic leaders of a coming time in Gurukul ashram and all, they are getting trained. King children nurtured in that spacious air like lions gambling with sky and the sun. That beautiful symbol, comparison and image we see. King children nurtured in that spacious air like lions gambling in sky and the sun. Received half consciously their godlike stamp. Again we can find plastering and firm beneath the eternal hand, met nature with a bold and friendly clasp, and served in her the power that shapes her work. Again, so we can find a letter, it is the great description. They breathed like spirits from time's dull yoke released, comrades and vessels of the cosmic force. Then we can find their speech, their silence was a help to the earth. Their speech, their silence was a help to the world. These sages breathed for God's delight in things. Now then we find a magic happiness flowed from their touch. Oneness was sobering in that sylvan peace. Just now we were seeing a magic happiness flowed from their touch. Oneness was sovereign in that sylvan peace. The wild beast joined in friendship with its prey. There is no enmity between, even in the wild beast. The wild beast joined in friendship with its prey, persuading the hatred and strive to seize. Let not it continue, because they are in friendship with even the foes, enemies are in friendship. The love that flows from the one mother's breast healed with their hearts the hard and wounded world. Others, some people also we have seen, escaped from the confines of thought. Some others escaped from the confines of thought to where mind motionless sleeps waiting light's birth, and came back quivering with a nameless force, drunk with a wine of lightning in their cell. Drunk with a wine of lightning in their cells. Intuitive knowledge leaping into speech. Intuitive knowledge, not ordinary knowledge, it is leaping into speech, seized, vibrant, kindling with the inspired word. So they sang infinity's names and the deathless powers in meters that reflect the moving worlds. Again, we can some lost to the person and his strip of thought. Some still some others, lost to the person and his strip of thought in a motionless ocean of impersonal power, sat mighty, visioned with the infinity's light. Then we find there is a great description. So what happens? All the occult world lines forever closed. The chain of birth and person cast away. Some uncompanioned reached the ineffable. So just imagine all the occult world lines forever closed, the chains of birth and person cast away. Some uncompanioned reached the ineffable. Then we can go little beyond. The golden virgin in her curved car came gliding among meditation seats. She is moving on. She rested, drawing routine around her like a cloak. She rested, drawing around her like a cloak. In its spirit of patient muse and potent prayer, so she is moving on. She is going ahead. Again, we can find something brilliant, like a desire that questions silent gods, then passes star-like to some bright beyond. Thence to great solitary tracks she came. From those yogic atmosphere, she is coming to a solitary tract where man is a passerby towards human sins. Again we see the earth multiplied to her a changing brow. The earth multiplied to her a changing brow and called her with a far and nameless voice. The mountain with its in their anchorite solitude. This is finding a great scene, that is a great description of nature. The mountains in their anchorite solitude, the forest with its multitudinous chant, disclosed to her the masked divinity's home. Everything, whatever disclosed, it is now getting open, it is coming to the fore. So again we can find something very interesting here. Everything is passing away, and still unaccomplished was the fateful quest, but that quest still unaccomplished. Still she found not one predestined face for whom she was sought. She is in the distant wilderness, moving from place to place, from spot to spot. Still she found not the one predestined face for which she sought amid the sons of men. A grandiose silence wrapped the regal day. So let us take few lines, then we'll come to the great finishing lines. So what happens here? Savitri journey through all these retreats, halts in the hermitages during nights and or rests in the open. Resting initially through the pickle tracks palaces, then inside the nature, resting in the hermitages during the night, or rest in the open on the banks of river in solitary tract in desert spaces. She keeps waiting because this journey not a one day journey or a moment's journey or an hour's finishing journey, closing journey. So initially she was taking rest in the palaces, and now she is moving and taking rest during hermitages in the night or rest in the open in the on the banks of river in solitary tracks in desert spaces. But still the quest is not accomplished, the destined face is not yet found. In the meanwhile, spring is gone and the burning summer is on. So you can find the great thing. This spring is gone and the burning summer is on. Still unaccomplished is the fateful journey, and still the predestined face is not found. So Sri Aurobindo tries to quote beautifully. It has been described very nicely. We can see that description, last few lines. The months had fed the passion of the sun. The months had fed the passion of the suns, and now his burning breath assailed the soil. Summer, arrival of summer. His burning breath assailed the soil. The tiger heads prowled through the fainting earth. The tiger heads prowled through the fainting earth. All was licked up as by a lolling tongue. Lolling tongue is lulling. All was leaked as by a lulling tongue. The spring winds failed. It is the departure of spring. Spring, an ardent lover, caught the earth bride into his eager clasp. So here the spring is taking a farewell. The spring winds failed. The sky was set like a bronze. It is the arrival of the great summer, bright summer, and of course the hottest summer. So with this great description, we are going to make a halt of the described, be magnificently described quest and wait for the next step, book of the love, in the further course of discussion in Savitri summarization. One voice. Bye.